You have felt it 1,000 times, that pull, that want, but have you ever asked, where does it actually come from? In our last chapter, we looked at humanity's long history of waiting. We explored how patience wasn't just a virtue, it was literally a tool for survival. But today, in this explainer, we are crossing a threshold. We're stepping out of the history books and zooming right into the internal world of the human body. We are going to uncover the actual biology of desire.
For the longest time, we've treated these sudden urges as mysteries of the heart, right? Or even worse, as failures of the mind. But what if the origin of your deepest cravings isn't some great mystery at all? What if instead it's a mechanism?
Is desire a choice, or is it just a chemical? Society has a habit of treating our sudden urges as personal failings. But today, I want you to drop any moral judgment, drop the guilt, and let go with any shame you might be carrying about wanting things. We're just going to observe the human animal. We're here to find out why the brain wants things in the first place.
Okay, let's dive into this. What is desire, biologically speaking? Well, it's not just wanting. It is a biological signal designed purely for survival. It's your brain assigning priority. Think about walking through a bustling neighborhood market. You've got thousands of stimuli coming at you, but a few specific voices, maybe the sharp smell of street food or a sudden movement, they cut right through the noise and grab your attention. Not because they're the most important things in the world, but because your nervous system has tagged them as worth acting on right now. Desire doesn't wait politely for you to reflect. It arrives with a demanding sense of now. And that brings us to a realization that honestly changes everything. Desire is not weakness. It is wiring. Urgency isn't irrationality, it's a deeply embedded control system. So the next time you feel that sudden, undeniable pull to check your phone or grab a snack, the real question isn't, why am I being so weak? The question is, what system inside me has decided that this matters immediately? To answer that, we need to take a look at the brain's reward machinery. And it's probably not what you think. Picture opening a delivery box. The cardboard box itself isn't the reward. The real reward is that split-second comparison between what you thought would be inside and what was actually there. You see, reward is entirely about prediction. If you expected nothing and got a little something, wow, it feels powerful. Your brain rewards better than expected outcomes by learning to expect them again. It's not just some simple pleasure button. It is a highly evolved learning system that's constantly updating its map of the world.
But here's a really fascinating twist. The brain actually cares just as much about relief as it does about pleasure. Imagine wearing a tight shoe all day long. Taking it off actually feels better than putting on a perfectly comfortable pair, doesn't it? Why is that? It's because your nervous system is constantly tracking and trying to resolve discomfort. So, reaching for food, checking messages, endlessly scrolling, a lot of the time you aren't chasing delight at all. Your brain is just trying to soothe tension, uncertainty, or boredom. It just wants to take the tight shoe off. But that brings us to a really curious mystery. If desire isn't always about pleasure, and sometimes the actual payoff is quite small, why do we want things so badly? Why do some urges feel completely impossible to ignore? The answer lies in a missing ingredient called salience. And salience simply means noticeability. Imagine a brilliant highlighter pen inside your brain. Your reward system might tell you if a sentence matters, but salience is the bright yellow ink that makes the sentence impossible to skip. Everyday cues, like a simple notification tone, the smell drifting from a kitchen, or a familiar app icon, they become coated in this yellow ink. They stop being just objects and instantly transform into mobilized bodily urges. And this brilliantly illustrates a profound difference we have to understand. Reward gives a thing value, but salience gives it urgency. A thing can be highly rewarding but not grab your attention at all. On the flip side, something can be intensely attention-grabbing without actually being very rewarding in the end. This is exactly why your wanting can so easily outrun your wisdom. Wisdom is slow. It carefully compares options. Salience is lightning fast. It violently pulls your attention toward whatever your brain has marked as relevant at this exact moment. Now, this brings us to a massive biological confusion that we really need to clear up. Wanting and liking are completely different circuits in the human brain. Liking is the actual pleasure or enjoyment you feel. Wanting is the motivational pull toward it. You can want something fiercely, like mindlessly scrolling through a feed for hours without actually enjoying it once you're doing it. You aren't broken. Your nervous system is just chasing a learned motivational signal rather than actual pleasure. So, let's see how this builds into an undeniable physical sensation. Reward and salience feed each other in this continuous accelerating loop. It starts when a cue appears. Instantly, the brain flags it as relevant. That triggers reward learning, whispering, hey, this might matter. As a result, your attention intensely narrows, which only makes the cue feel stronger. Finally, your expectation deepens, locking you in. And around it goes. The brain literally becomes addicted to the signal of the reward, even if the actual payoff at the end is completely underwhelming. The problem is that in our modern world, this fast survival system is doing its job entirely too well, and that leads to salience misfires. Sometimes it's over-noticing, where a minor cue gets so much priority you simply can't stop thinking about it. Other times, it's the wrong cue, where urgency attaches to an artificial trigger, making it insanely hard to ignore. And then there are sticky cues, where you logically know a habit doesn't help you anymore, but you still feel physically pulled toward it. Again, this isn't a broken character. It's a primitive survival system overreacting to modern stimuli. Which raises a really fascinating thought experiment. What would happen if humans felt no desire at all? What if we could just turn off salience and reward entirely? Well, without this machinery, we would simply miss crucial opportunities for food, for connection, and we'd completely miss the signals for danger. This entire system was brilliantly designed to help us act decisively and keep organisms alive. So the crucial point is this evolutionary mismatch we face today. For hundreds of thousands of years, survival desire meant the agonizing effort of finding food, finding shelter, and finding connection. Today, modern commerce uses that exact same survival wiring to make us scroll, click, and consume. The brain's fast system is essentially being tricked. It's treating a buzzing phone or a social media update with the exact same biological urgency as a life-or-death survival cue. Understanding this biology offers a profound shift in how we view ourselves. You move from asking, why am I so weak, to asking, what has my brain learned to treat as important? The human body was built to want. Knowing that desire is a biological control system, a complex mix of prediction, salience, and relief-seeking, gives you immense clarity. It allows for better judgment and diagnosis, replacing endless willpower and vague self-guilt with actual understanding. We now know that our biology was built for a completely different world, and that mismatch is exactly what this series is all about. Which brings us to the ultimate question we have to face. If humanity evolved through waiting, effort, uncertainty, and anticipation, what happens when those barriers disappear?